This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Government might reconsider new policy regarding close protection services for judges. The Andrew Holness-led administration appears willing to reconsider the decision to allow private security personnel to provide bodyguard services for parish court judges. This follows a meeting on Wednesday involving National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, Justice Minister Delroy and Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Last week, the National Security Minister rejected the Chief Justice's call for a review of the new policy to deploy close protection officers to frontline duties. The Chief Justice said the policy shift could pose a security risk for judges and affect the independence of the judiciary. However, Justice Minister Delroy told the news that Wednesday's meeting unearthed serious security issues that judges face in conducting their jobs.
I don't think that there will be a removal of this security protection of the judges. In fact, some of the concerns that the Chief Justice expressed to the Minister of National Security and myself, I must admit this, many of them were not known to us. So these will be taken into consideration as we look forward to see what additional support we can give to our judges who have to travel in remote areas of the country to try cases, and also that, in fact, a huge number of our judges are women who oftentimes drive themselves from home to work by themselves, and therefore these are concerns which we need to look at.
An internal assessment by the Jamaica Constabulary Force in 2020 showed that the Protective Services Division ranked among the largest police divisions with a complement of 515 officers. In announcing the new policy last week, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said the deployment of trained police officers to carry out close protection service for public officials had resulted in the underutilization of law enforcers who were trained to fight crime. Cop charged with armed robbery 8 years ago freed. A member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force who was charged 8 years ago with armed robbery was freed on Friday in the Trelawney Parish Court. Constable Michael Campbell was acquitted of robbery, housebreaking, larceny, and assault occasioning bodily harm after his attorney, Oswest Senior Smith, challenged the evidence presented by the prosecution. Prosecutors reported that in October 2013, the policeman and other armed individuals went to the home of the complainant in Bounty Hall, Trelawney, and attempted to abduct him. The man who escaped later reported that Constable Campbell and other men stole cash and appliances from his house. At the trial, the policeman's attorney challenged the identification evidence, placing him at the scene as well as the testimony of the main witness. The judge agreed and ordered the policeman be released. Prominent medical doctor and philanthropist Lloyd Cole has died. Residents of Standpipe in St. Andrew have been left heartbroken as they mourn the loss of prominent medical doctor and philanthropist Lloyd Cole, who passed away on Wednesday. Cole, 83, died at the Nut Hall Hospital after a battle with prostate cancer. Sandra Brown, his former caregiver, told the news that while she misses him, she is grateful for the time they shared. Our journey here at the Dr. Lloyd Cole Medical Complex with Dr. Cole was nice. He was a good man. He was a nice, kind, loving, respectable man. He helped to send us to school. That was one of his main attributes, she said. Brown noted that Cole assisted her and her daughter to further their education. Cole operated his medical complex along Old Hope Road in St. Andrew for many years, serving communities including residents of the nearby Standpipe. Simone Henry, another resident, said Cole played an invaluable role in the lives of Standpipe community members. For 48 years, I know him because I was born and grew up here. For all the time I know him, he was a very, very good man. He didn't have a fault which somebody didn't like. He was a very good man. He was very caring and loving, and he cares for children mostly, she told the news. Carl Alexander, a supervisor at the Super Value Home Center, which is near Cole's medical complex, said he would look forward to helping Cole with his popular annual Christmas treat which started in 1985. This street that Doc has going started with 12 children. His plan was to give 12 unfortunate kids in the community who don't have Christmas dinner, and it expanded, Alexander said. In recent years, Cole received permission to cordon sections of Old Hope Road to host the children on Boxing Day. With the pandemic and the social distancing rules, no treat was held in the last year. Henry and Brown told the news that they are determined to see the tradition of bring cheer to the children continue. Portland police seized almost $60 million worth of ganja since July. The Portland police say since July, more than 7,000 pounds of ganja valued at almost $60 million have been seized. The ganja was found during 6 operations. Deputy Superintendent Troyville Horton, head of operations for the Portland Police, says the seizures are indicative of the resources being pumped into drug trafficking and are also closely connected to the importation of illegal guns into the parish. He urged the Portland residents and other stakeholders to ensure that we spread the word about the level of vigilance that is required across the parish, noting that the seizures indicate there are more resources being pumped into illicit activities. DSP Horton said Portland has seen an increase in the number of major crimes. There have been 5 more murders this year than the same period in 2020. Additionally, there are 10 more instances of robbery and 1 more of rape. Break-ins have increased by 13 and larceny by 3. 21 shootings have occurred so far this year compared to 11 last year. However, aggravated assault decreased by 4. Arrests have been made in 48% or 53 of the 110 serious and violent crimes reported this year. DSP Horton shared the figures while addressing Thursday's monthly meeting of the Portland Municipal Corporation. Prime Minister insists no election will be called soon. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Friday declared that he will not call an election while the country is in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking during a vaccination mobilization tour in St. Mary, the Prime Minister bashed the People's National Party for recent utterances regarding local government elections being called soon.
The government of Jamaica will not be calling any elections in this current situation. That is the furthest thing from our mind, and I had already said that we couldn't even contemplate elections until we have reached a very high threshold of vaccinations. We can't put the country through that. An election would cost billions, and we don't have billions to spend on that right now. They don't want to face a defeat in a local government election, and therefore it's transparent what they're doing. They're saying, hey, don't call any elections because we don't want to lose. That is the furthest thing from my mind. Right now, there's no benefit to calling any elections. We already control local government, and we are already the government. What more is there to prove?
The PNP has reported that 98% of its candidates have been selected for the next local government elections, but the party is demanding that the Prime Minister ink an agreement not to call elections this year. PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell, in a news interview on Thursday, said the opposition party has taken the political temperature on the ground and it is repositioning itself amid the dismal findings of the recent RGR Gleaner Don Anderson polls. Local government elections are due for February 27, 2022, following Parliament's approval of amendments to temporarily modify the Representation of the People Act. Westmoreland man missing. 25-year-old Romain Carvalho of Chantilly Gardens, Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland has been missing since Thursday, September 30. He is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 175 centimeters or 5 feet 9 inches tall. Reports from the Savannah Lamar police are that Carvalho was last seen leaving his home. When last seen, he was dressed in a burgundy and a black t-shirt, black pants, and a pair of black shoes. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Romain Carvalho is being asked to contact the Savannah Lamar police at 876-955-2536, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. More pregnant women and new mothers becoming seriously ill with COVID-19. The Ministry of Health is reporting an increase in the number of pregnant women and women who recently gave birth being hospitalized in serious condition after testing positive for the coronavirus. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Beseso McKenzie made the disclosure at a media briefing on Thursday evening, pointing out that the increased occurrences are being reported at both private and public health facilities.
Whether it is in private care or in the public hospitals, in our health centers. So they have that contact with the healthcare professional, whether it is the doctor, the midwife, they must have that conversation, because here we are seeing very clearly that the number of women who are pregnant the number is increasing for those that are pregnant that have COVID and severe COVID. And so you're more likely to have a severe outcome if you're pregnant, and it can also affect the baby. So right across the country, the overall numbers is that it's just under 80% of persons have still not even received one dose. And these persons must come out. 12.3% of the population is now fully vaccinated, and further 8.2% have had one dose, so they're due to get their second dose. We need to move these numbers up, and just again to point out that we have a lot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in stock, and several persons are taking it now. And if with just one dose we can move that needle and put us in a safer place for the Christmas season. Still a high geographical spread, as we are seeing community, still indication of community spread right across the parishes. Still, we have quite a bit of persons on beds, over 500. We want to get that down to below 200. We're still having a high positivity rate, although trending down, but still just under 20%, and we want to get to 5% to be in that green area. Reproductive rate is decreasing, and that is a very positive trend, and this is something that we want to keep down.
Kingston West lists wanted men. The police in the Kingston Western Division have listed 3 men as wanted in connection with several serious crimes committed in the division. They are a man known only as Ants Man, a man known only as Dollar Boss, and a man known only as Fire Boss. The police are urging the men to turn themselves into the Denhamtown police station immediately. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of these men are being asked to contact the Denhamtown police at 876-948-6443, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Former Police Commissioner Ellington agrees some criminals cannot be rehabilitated. Former Commissioner of Police Owen Ellington has agreed with the National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang that some hardened criminals cannot be rehabilitated. Dr. Chang made the comment on Thursday while reacting to Monday's fatal shooting of alleged gang leader Christopher Linton, also known as Dog Paw. Mr. Ellington shares the view that some gangsters who are involved in organized crimes will not change, especially if the benefits are visible and tangible.
Especially those who are involved in crime for benefits which are visible and tangible. And in the case of the gangsters who are involved in what we call organized crime, they are actually running criminal businesses, and therefore, to the extent that those in prison from time to time, all they are concerned with is either business continuity once they get out. So no real effort at rehabilitation is going to change the modus operandi of such individuals. They just have to face the kind of demise that Dog Paw faced, or remain in prison for the rest of their natural lives. They would intimidate citizens to the extent that they choose not to be seen or even to be considered to be supportive of law enforcement, and then they insert themselves as community protectors. Who are they protecting the communities from? Not the police, from other criminals with whom they are in constant battle for control of market space. So what that gang under the leadership of Dog Paw would have done is to create a market for criminality in the community. legislation to protect that market. And they will single out residents in the communities who will be able to move freely, walk freely, just get along with their normal lives as if nothing is happening. But they are killing people.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.